everyone, welcome to Grass-Fed Marketing's class on pre-selling bulk beef. So today, I'm Lacey and I'm one of the marketing coaches with Grass-Fed Marketing, and I'm going to be talking to you today about pre-selling bulk beef specifically. Yeah, so this is like the rancher's, like pinnacle of of what every rancher wants to do. And there's so many reasons why, but bulk beef is one of those things that, you can move more quicker. It's better profit margins. There's just so many reasons, and reasons you probably haven't even thought of yet. So we're going to go over that even more. But today, I'm just going to move my little video up here. We're going to talk about pre-selling bulk beef. Now, most of you and most ranchers at some point do some sort of a bulk beef promotion, but I'm going to just change it up on you a little bit. We're going to position this as a pre-sell product, and what that means, this isn't new, by the way. So I would say farmers are the OGs, the original people who have come up with the idea of a pre-sell. CSAs, right? Like, we've been selling CSAs for generations. And what are CSAs? They're community supported agriculture, but they're pre-selling a crop or some sort of a harvest of some sort, right? So this is not new. This has been around forever, and farmers have been doing it forever. We're just going to take the concept of the CSA and we're going to translate it into our bulk beef pre-sales, and take that concept of, instead of planning a field or a crop, we're planning a herd, right? We're planning our seasonal buys. We're planning our herd size, and we're just going to be pre-selling those before. Sometimes, if you have a cow-calf operation, this would be different, but if you don't, if you're just finishing them out, then maybe even before hooves even hit the ground, you can have your herd already sold, right? So this is something that is 100% possible, and I'm going to show you how today. Super exciting. I know a lot of ranchers and farmers have been trying to figure this out, and we actually have a really great formula that is proven to work. And one of the things that I encounter a lot when I talk to ranchers about this is, well, nobody will be willing to buy a beef in bulk 6 months in advance. And I'm here to tell you that is absolutely incorrect. People are more than happy to pre-purchase a share of your herd 6 months in advance, a year in advance, 3 months in advance. It literally does not matter. As long as we are serving as the guiding force, the authority, and the experts in meal planning and planning their beef supply. So the whole goal of this, guys, is to make buying bulk beef, and here's where a lot of ranchers get hung up, making it easy, affordable in the sense of not cheap, right, but affordable, to where the customer feels like they're getting a good deal, and repeatable. Is this process repeatable? So that's what we're going to talk about today, is a process that is easy, affordable, and repeatable, and that's our goal. But why would you even want to pre-sell bulk beef in bulk? This is one thing that I think so many ranchers are missing, that every ranch that is doing direct to consumer should have some sort of a pre-sell bulk beef program implemented into their annual marketing. And that could be run twice a year, that could be run just once a year. Just depends on the seasonality of your business and how many herds you have a year, how often you want to move cattle. I like to call it the 4th of July of beef, because it's that one time a year that rolls around that you can basically like do a little, not much work and pre-sell your entire herd and or however many cattle you're trying to move, and then collect on that during fulfillment. So so it's an exciting program. It should be implemented in every single ranch. If you are not implementing some sort of a pre-sale bulk beef program, you need to start doing it yesterday. People in today's day and age, especially after COVID, are wanting to have the security of food in their freezers. More and more people are sourcing from the ranch and sourcing from the farm, and they love the aspect of having the ability to meal plan for their family and to have healthy local grass-raised beef from a source that they trust versus going to the grocery store and gambling if there's even going to be meat there. So it is a very, very good program to have, and one that your customers want. They do want this. You just have to present it to them. You have to tell them about it and present it to them and make it easy for them to buy. But we'll get into that in a second, right? So why should you do pre-sales? I would say right off the bat is you're going to be getting in bankroll. This is money that you can use to either purchase your cattle or your herd, whatever you want to call it, or to use it for processing, put it as a deposit towards the processing bill, whatever you need to use it for. I would say in the past, right, we've always borrowed from the bank. So this is taking the money that we used to borrow from the bank, and we're now technically using our customers as the bank, because they're going to be putting deposits down on your herd. So having that bankroll is massive. I mean, it can be a game changer, and I've worked with several ranchers that it's actually saved their ranch because it's given them the cash flow to pay their mortgage or pay their bills or whatever it is that they need to do that they're behind on or whatever. Another thing is that if you're going to be doing a pre-sale program in your company, you now can plan your kills and processing dates months and years in advance. I know that a lot of processors, they want adequate time, especially with like coming out of COVID, right? We have like this huge backlog of getting those dates set, right? So sometimes we're having to make those dates a year in advance without the security of knowing how many cattle we're going to be able to bring in. The other end of this is that I know a lot of ranchers are doing like weekly kills or monthly kills of like 1s and 2s. And I'll tell you right now, like if you want to be your butcher's most favorite customer, bringing in 1 to 2 cows every other week is not the way to do it. It's kind of a pain in their butt, or it can be. Where if you are doing larger kills once or twice a year and you're able to schedule those out and have the security of knowing exactly how many cows you're going to be bringing in, I'll tell you, you'll become a favorite customer real quick. And there's a couple other things we're going to talk about today that's also going to make you their favorite customer by making it easier on them for the processing side when it comes to bulk beef, but also just having the planning security to make those calls. The other thing is that it's an in and out operation, guys. So especially if you're just finishing cattle, I know it's different if you're doing like a cow-calf operation or whatever, but even then, literally they're pre-sold, they're on pasture for however many days they need to fatten up to get to reach their maximum weight, right? Then they're to the processor, and then literally the customers, as soon as they're done, the customers are going to be picking them up and or we're going to be shipping them. So it's an in and out operation. You're not holding on to inventory. This can eliminate overhead like storage fees and all sorts of other complications. It's also one of those things where the fulfillment side is so easy to do. It's really easy to hire out. So if you have like, you know, a couple local high school kids that need jobs, this would be a perfect job for them, just to, you know, make sure that the boxes are where they need to be and or meeting people at pickup locations or packing them to ship. So it's a super easy in and out operation. You're not holding on to inventory. Back to the next one is that you can plan your herd size. So you can see right here, we can, for once, you know, leading up to this, it's always like, well, I think we're going to sell 20 cows, or I think we're going to do 50 head this year. And this is, I'm talking direct to consumer game, guys. I'm not talking about like wholesale or sending them to auction or whatever. I'm talking about like us with our best guesses based on like how much we did last year and how much we think we can do this year. It's such a gamble. It's such a gamble where if you implement a pre-sale program into your company, you now have like guaranteed by, let's just say March, right? By March 15th, how great would it be to know all the cattle that you need to to process and fulfill and sell for the year? Like, how much easier would that be to plan your herd? So that's the benefit of having one of these pre-sale programs. The other thing too is like you're going to be getting premium price, right? Even though it's in bulk and your customers are going to love having the discounts of buying in bulk, you're still going to be getting a premium price, and that price is going to be up front, and you're going to have a deposit so you have that cash roll in the beginning, and then you're going to have that final amount due. So it's going to be like another 4th of July coming your way in the fall, and or whenever you do your fulfillment. Obviously, bulk beef has the best profit margin. At least in the ranches I've worked with. I've asked them, well, okay, what product do you have the best profit margin on? And they're like, hands down, bulk beef. And so, this is just scaling that and taking your most profitable product and amplifying it through a promotion and a sales strategy. So it's really exciting stuff. A pre-sale program is amazing. My favorite thing about a pre-sale program is that, it's re-educating the consumer to honor the whole animal. It's re-educating the consumer to honor the seasonality of ranching and the realities of ranching. And that's why they're willing to purchase a share of a cow early in the spring with a fall fulfillment time frame, or summer, or a winter, or whenever. Because we, as the ranchers, that's our job, is to educate the consumer, on honoring the whole animal. And part of that is utilizing all the parts of the animal, not just steak boxes or roasts or whatever. They're getting like literal size boxes of versions of the animal. And that includes oxtail and sometimes tongue and all these wonderful cuts that, shank and things that maybe you don't often get to play with and see. But we, as the ranchers, we get to serve as the guides for our customers. We get to serve as the authority, and we get to serve as the educators. We're going to be educating them and coming at this from an outsider's perspective of somebody who's never bought beef before. So that's really important. When you're implementing a pre-sale program, it is getting, we're so engulfed in this industry. We use terms like shares and, different breeds of cattle, we might say. Like, we're going to totally get rid of and like come out of our bubble and come at this as if we've never ranched and or bought bulk beef and or ever bought beef before from a rancher. So we're going to approach this and make this so simple because we're going to approach it from the perspective of somebody who's never bought before from a ranch. And we're going to identify those, I would say, touch points or bottleneck points that are going to turn customers off because we're too engulfed in our own industry and we're making it too complicated and too difficult to understand and or have, just insiders, we're too big of experts, right? So we're going to simplify it down to make it so easy. So that kind of brings me to my next section, which is just, like I said, in today's day and age, if you confuse, you're going to lose your customer. If you confuse them, you're going to lose them. So we have to make this pre-sale program that we're going to implement into our companies, we have to make it so easy, it's impossible to say no. We're going to educate them and provide them all the resources that's going to answer every question they could possibly have. Just to name a few of the things that could possibly and do I'm not going to say could. They do confuse your customers. These are some reasons why you are losing your bulk beef sales. Okay, so there's a really simple, what would you call it? Just like a practice that I like to do. And that's go find somebody who has never bought bulk beef before or has never bought from a ranch before, and ask them, hey, I would like to sell you a quarter beef. What questions do you have? And this is critical research, guys. This is super critical industry research because, like I said, we want to come at this from an outsider's perspective. So we're going to ask these questions, right? And probably one of the first things they're going to say is, well, how much would I be getting if I get a quarter of beef, right? And a lot of times when I see this all the time on Facebook and whatever, is ranches being like, hey, we have bulk beef for sale, get a quarter beef, blah, 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 blah. And right off the bat, my first question is like, somebody who has never bought beef before is probably looking at that going, oh, that's not for me, because they just don't even know what it entails. It seems like too big of a monster to approach that, like, well, I'm not experienced with that, and I don't know the industry language, and yada, yada, yada. So simply just putting out there what exactly they're getting, what comes in a quarter beef, how much ground beef, how many slow cook cuts, how many steaks and variety of steaks come in each, whether it's an eighth, quarter, half, or whole beef, right? So this is part of that education that I talked about, that we're going to be educating our customers to make this so easy, simple for them. And that involves answering all these questions that we're going to gain from our critical research, from going out and asking your neighbor, or maybe not your neighbor, maybe somebody in town who, I don't know, you're friends with, but they've never bought beef before. Ask them these questions. So, I mean, that's where all these came from, right? Is just this research. So the next top one would be like how it works. So I would say that 99% of people who are trying to sell bulk beef, the one thing that they're missing is a how it works section. This is the most critical section because this is going to tell people the process of how it works. Because that's going to be their number one question they're going to ask you anyways. Well, how does this work? If I order a quarter beef from you, then what? How do I pay for it? What do I do? So a simple, and I like bullet points and or like a simple 1, 2, 3, 4. No more than 5. No more than 5 points. If it's more than 5 points, you need to simplify it and or identify what your bottleneck is. What part of that process is too confusing. So 5 simple steps on how it works. Step number 1, choose between an eighth, quarter, half, or whole, and then with the weights next to each one. Step 2, place a deposit. Step 3, we continue to raise healthy grass-finished beef for you. Step 4, when your beef is ready, we're going to weigh it and invoice you the final amount and contact you to pick up your beef. Step 5, enjoy happy, healthy beef all year long. Something like that, right? Simple, easy way to put people's fears aside associated with going in on a larger volume of meat. So having that how it works section is so critical. The next one I see is how do we pay for it? Now this comes down to you guys. What is your system? What is your customer journey that you're taking on for people to give you money? And I'll tell you right now, one of the biggest things that is going to lose your sale, and this drives me insane, I see this all the time, is when people say, message me for pricing, or send me a PayPal, or email me to find out what's available or whatever. It drives me nuts. You guys, you can get a simple Shopify account and just use it for products. I mean, that's it. If you don't have anything else, even if you don't need a fancy website to do this whatsoever. Literally, if you just get like a landing page with the ability to purchase products, you are going to 9 times out of 10 not lose that customer. Where, I see all the time, PM me for details. Like, no, No, I don't want to send you a message on Facebook to find out the details. Like, can you just tell me the details and have a call to action with a direct link to the product so I can just go ahead and place a deposit and or decide if I want to place a deposit for the product. So again, guys, if you aren't simplifying this, you're going to lose your customer. And that's probably why your bulk beef sales are not where they're at right now, is because you don't have a clear call to action for your customers to make that buying decision. One of the other things is, what is a share? And again, guys, this is industry lingo. This to us, a share is like a no-brainer. Duh, it's like a share of a cow or a share of a milk share, right? Or a CSA share. It's common industry language for us, but for 90% of the rest of the population, they have no idea what a share is. I'm sorry to break this to you, but nobody knows what a share is. So when you use the term share, either you need to give it a definition on what is a share. Don't assume that your customers know what a share is. Do not assume, because I'll tell you right now, they don't know what a share is. Or just change the name to saying bulk beef. We can call it what it is. A bulk beef share would be acceptable, but even better is just bulk beef. Get your share of bulk beef, right? Or get your bulk beef pre-bought today, reserved today. Our bulk beef fall sale is here. So do you see what I'm saying? The difference here? Get your share. Nobody knows what a share is. So all I'm saying is either give it a definition so that it's easy to understand and assume that nobody knows what it means, or just rename it and call it bulk beef. Less confusing. Again, if you confuse, you're going to lose your customers. Another thing is, this kind of goes with how much are they getting, but just what do the sizes mean? Like, what does a quarter beef mean? Again, this is industry language, and because we're engulfed in this business, we don't, we know it like the back of our hands. A quarter is a quarter of a cow, right? Most people don't know that. And I'll tell you right now, the reason why I'm telling you to come at this as a newcomer, and maybe I wasn't clear about this a little bit earlier, but it's because most of your customers are going to be people who have never bought beef before. I know, it's super surprising, because probably you've been selling to people who are avid bulk beef buyers, and or your friends or neighbors or people who whatever. And I'll tell you right now, if you want to get that premium price we talked about, those are not your customers. And these customers are going to be easier to work with too, for a number of reasons. They obviously don't know too much, so they're not going to be super demanding. They are totally fine paying a premium price versus wanting like the friend discount or the backyard cow. You're gonna find that a majority of your customers are gonna be people who have never bought before bulk beef. This one here, I actually kind of skipped over it, but it is really important. And it kind of reminded me of it because of talking about people, this being their first time. One of the major ways that you are going to lose your bulk beef sale is by the confusing pricing. And I know for generations we've been charging processing plus hanging fees, right? And I'll tell you right now, guys, that is the most confusing way to present a bulk beef offer, because one, you can't really give them a clear idea of the actual final cost. So there's a lot of like smokes and mirrors in there, which loses a lot of customer trust in the end. And also, it's just really confusing. So again, if you confuse, you lose. If you have to explain yourself for more than a few minutes on how to understand the pricing, it's already too complicated. I would highly suggest, and what we have seen the most success from our ranchers is when they just charge a final per pound price. And people are totally good with it. It's more upfront. It's easier to calculate in their head, to do the math. And that's obviously minus the deposit. So that will be a really important aspect. of how to not lose your bulk beef customer and how to simplify this process. The last one is customizations. And again, what I was saying about how those new customers that you're having, they're going to be easier to work with. And that a lot of that comes down to stop offering customizations. I know, it blows my mind, right? It blows everyone's mind when I say that. But, and I think like, you know, it's just been ingrained in us that when you buy bulk beef, you get the option to customize. And I'll tell you right now, we stopped offering customizations so long ago, and we are so grateful for it, because customizations are just an opportunity to make mistakes and make your customers upset. I'm going to say it right now, especially when you're getting up to like 5, 10, 20, 30, 100 head in pre-sales, if you offer customizations on every single one, it's not that customers even necessarily want it. If anything, it causes more stress for the customer, because you're going to be spending more time on the phone with them just talking them through the custom sheet, the custom cut sheet, and how to choose the sizes and the thicknesses and the ratios and yada, yada, yada. But you're also going to be driving your butchers crazy and causing them to make more mistakes trying to follow everybody's cut instructions with that volume of cattle. So honestly, like, offer an alternative of a custom cut template that you apply to all your beef. And if somebody's really upset about it and they're like, oh, I really wanted customizations, they're probably not your customer, and they're probably not willing to pay the premium price that you're asking for your beef. They want the backyard cow that they can do all into ground beef, and they want it for $4 a pound, $5 a pound. And we just got to shake those people off, because that's not who is going to be growing our pre-sale program. They're not the people who are going to be interested in meal planning and paying that premium price for a beef. So we just got to shake those people off. If they're longtime friends or whatever, sure, maybe you do a couple deals with them privately. But for the majority of your audience, I personally would recommend not to offer customizations. It makes your process simpler, it makes them less confused, and it allows you to make less mistakes and upset your customers. Because I've been there. I've been down this path where we offered customizations. I was on the phone for hours with people trying to talk them through how to make the decisions on the cut sheet. It came time to apply that cut sheet, and most people had, hey, I didn't get 1.5 inch steaks. I got, 1 inch steaks, or I wanted this and I got that. And it's just, because when the butcher's dealing with so many orders, they make mistakes sometimes. So what do I do now? There's nothing I can do. Offer a refund? It just comes down to giving more room for error. And honestly, most of the people, like I said, it stresses them out to make all those decisions. When you offer a solution, you are stepping up as the authority and the expert in that field, because they're coming to you. They trust you. They know that this is what you do for a living. So be the expert and offer them a solution and say, hey, we have a custom cut template that we apply to all of our beefs, and it is tried and true. We've perfected over 20 years, and chances are you probably do know the best way to break down a whole beef. Chances are that you do know like the best, steak sizes and ratio of ground beef to slow cook cuts to steaks. Chances are you already know this in your head. So own it, own that expertise, and offer it as a solution to your customers, because they're looking to you anyways to be a solution to that. So yeah, don't offer customizations. And if you do, that's fine. But eventually, as you grow your pre-sale program, you're going to come back and go, oh man, yeah, we have to stop offering customizations. So if it's not now, it will be soon, I promise. All right. So this is my favorite part of doing bulk beef pre-sales, is that you can totally adapt this to your season, to the seasonality of your ranching operation. You can adapt this program to be anything you want it to be. We have to get over the idea that people won't buy from us 3 months in advance, 6 months in advance, or a year in advance, because they absolutely will. We just have to give them an opportunity to do so. So it's okay to embrace the realities of your business. And what I mean by that is, I hear from a lot of ranchers like, oh, we have to try to make sure that we have a certain amount of beef available this time of year, so that we have to like have backstock and inventory and yada, 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 yada. This is reshifting the idea that whatever natural seasons you have, like most people have a summer and a fall herd. I think that's safe to say. Some people have year-round operations too, but, or at least summer and a fall kill, right? So structuring these pre-sales around that timeline of maybe being like, in March you release deposits to your summer herd with a, September, October fulfillment time frame, right? And you run deposits through like June. So March to June is like your deposit time frame. And that's to plan your September, October kills, right? And then you have your your fall kills that maybe you launch deposits like in, July, and run those through September, and that has a November, December estimated fulfillment time frame, right? Whatever it would look like for you is totally achievable. And I'm just here to smash the idea that of ranchers thinking that no one would be willing to do that, because they absolutely will. You just have to give them the opportunity, and you can structure this around your business. It's kind of like the idea of like, you can have the best life you ever imagined. And I know it sounds super cliche, but like, what is your ideal? Like, if you could take out all of your current direct-to-consumer business of like combo boxes and whatever, and trying to make sales 12 months a year, if you could take all that out, and if you could just have this ideal scenario of when you would have your beef sales by, to know like how many cattle to get, and then to plan your kills and to do fulfillment, what would that time frame, like do a 12-month calendar and just like mark it out? Like, man, it'd be really great to know what our summer herd would look like by February. Great, fine. So that means that you're going to structure this pre-sale plan around getting deposits the deadline being in February, because that's when your ideal time frame is to know what your summer herd looks like, to make those buys, to make sure they're fat enough by whatever, time frame that you think you can get them fat enough by and kill them by, right? So it's worth the time to just sit down and like plan out this almost dream life of what your season looks like. And ideally, like what it would look like to have how much sold by when, and go by that. And then do it. Like, here's the crazy part, is it's achievable to implement this. And I'm going to tell you how in this next section. So again, just think about that timeline of like your perfect season. Think of the dates of like when you would, the very latest you would need to know of when you need to make your decisions by, right? So like when you need to either make your cattle purchases or schedule your processing date and tell your processors how many cows you're going to bring in. Get that date in mind. And this is for like 2022, okay? Because we're coming in the end of the year here. It's December right now when we're recording this video. So think about the following year from where we're at right now, and or the following months from where you're watching this video right now. And plan out those days, ideal days. And from there, we're gonna craft a sales plan, some sort of a promotional bulk beef sales plan. So we're gonna get into the meat of how to execute a fabulous, productive bulk beef pre-sale. I'm just gonna take a drink of water. Too much talking. Okay. So this is a simple structure based around the idea of creating pressure and scarcity. The idea of scarcity. So meaning is only so long that you can buy, and there's only so many cows available. So that is the bones of this marketing structure, this marketing plan for your bulk beef pre-sales. So step 1 is come up with that calendar timeline. Step 2 is to create the idea of scarcity and pressure. So in order to do that, the most critical part of this is to do a pre-launch countdown. And this goes counterintuitive to everything we've ever been taught to move product, is to not release the products. To just tell people about the products, not release them. And this is, I think, the hardest thing for people. And it cracks me up too, because some people just don't have the self-control and they go right into bulk beef is available now. This is especially tempting if you have bulk beef available now and you need to move it really fast. That is a tough position to be in, but I will tell you that if you can wait even just 2 weeks or even 3 days to have a build up to your product launch, that will make or break your sales. I can compare them side by side with the ranchers I work with every day. The people who do the countdown to the product launch versus the people who go right into product launch. The people who do the countdown sell 10 times as much beef as the people who go right into product launch. And here's why. This is a psychology thing when it comes to customers. This is a critical time to educate them on what it means to buy bulk beef, what is bulk beef, and answer all those questions that we talked about earlier. The questions that your friend in town is going to tell you, those are going to be the questions you're going to be answering during this time. It's also a critical time to implement any giveaways to really bulk up, no pun intended, to bulk up these promotions, to do some sort of a giveaway that, allows people to have like an automatic entry when they purchase bulk beef from you. I like automatic entries because all they have to do is buy bulk beef, and it's incentive to buy bulk beef because they're going to get in on this amazing giveaway. So, this is too much content to launch a product and then talk about all this stuff. You need a proper build-up. I prefer a month. I like a month build-up countdown. So that's saying bulk beef goes live in 30 days. And then all my emails are 3 more weeks, 2 more weeks, 1 more week, 3 more days, 24 more hours. Tomorrow is the day, 3 more hours, 1 more hour, however many emails you need to send. But in this series of emails, you can do, like I said, you can announce this awesome giveaway that you're doing. You can announce any bonuses that you're offering with your bulk beef. You can build up the excitement through education on like how it works, what to expect, how to choose, how to pick the size for you, how to plan for it, how much freezer space do you need. There's a lot that goes into these things. I think you'll be surprised as to how many questions you're going to get. And you're like, I never even thought that would be a question in somebody's mind. You make every question that you get, make a list, and that should be its own email in this countdown launch. The other thing too is like if you have other programs, like, we like to do a whole cow buyers club. So like maybe you want to introduce things like that during this time frame. Sky is the limit, but I'll tell you that people pay attention and they're going to be hearing it enough that they're going to be marking their calendars. It gives them time to think about what sizes they want, and it gives them time to make a decision so that when your product does go live, deposits are live, it is like, that's that 4th of July I'm talking about, folks. It is just like raining down fireworks on you. Quarters, halves, wholes, the sales are just rolling in. And I'll tell you, with this structure, you're going to see like most of your sales come in the first 3 days of product launch. And then you'll see the rest of your sales come in the last 2 weeks of your product launch. So a critical part of this is, now that we've launched our deposits, is to count. Now we're counting down to the deadline. Like I said, we're driving pressure and scarcity. So now that we've done the countdown to our product launch, we want to do our countdown to the deadline. So as soon as deposits are live, just a reminder, And I like to blame it on the butcher. I don't like to be the bad guy, so I like to say, hey, we need to submit our cut instructions to our butcher by X and X date. So make sure to get your bulk beef order in by this day. And now you get to count down to that deadline. So maybe an example of this is like March 1st. Oh no, let's do February 1st is when we announce our product launch. And we say the deposits are going to go live March 1st. And now guys, depending, like I said, I know like some people have inventory right now and they got to move it really fast. But this doesn't have to be a month-long countdown. I've seen people successfully do this with a 3-day countdown. It's pushing it, and that's fast to get everybody aware of the promotion. But it's achievable. So whatever that looks like for you, 2 weeks, a month, could be 2 months. This just depends on, I like to do a month. I feel like I've seen the most success when we do a month countdown. So February 1st to March 1st is just an example. This could be June to July. This could be December to January, whatever it is for you. But the important thing is that you have a pre-launch countdown. Products are not live during this time. No one can buy because you're going to build up the excitement and make them want to buy. So now products are live. Everyone's going crazy. Buy. They're all purchasing their bulk beef, right? So the second this happens, now it's time to count down to the deadline. So I'm going to say our deadline for this is June 1st. So that is March, April, May, and pretty much 3 months. So that's a 3-month countdown. This in-between time, I'm going to tell you right now, don't panic. Sales are going to slow down, but that's okay. Keep the faith. Keep the faith, because like I said, almost all your sales are going to come in the first 3 days and then the last 2 weeks of your countdown. So in this in-between time, though, this is a critical time to market to your customers and provide them what I like to call customer resources. And this is taking all the questions that we identified up here, and these are just a few examples, guys. It could be sky's the limit. How much freezer space do I need? How much does my family of 4 need? Like maybe it's whatever it is. We're going to take those questions and we're going to create resources in this time. And we're going to provide them resource after resource on how to plan their beef supply, how to feel prepared. Because what we're doing is we're crushing down all those fears that people who have never bought beef before or bulk beef before have, and making it appealing and reasonable and easy to buy by just crushing those fears. So we're going to take all those fears, we're going to turn them into assets, meaning like emails that are going to talk about them, or resources. Maybe it's like a resource guide. Maybe it's a table that shows like if you have this size of family and you eat beef this many times a week, here's what size you need. So maybe it's like some sort of a key to find out if they need an 1/8, quarter, half, or whole, or whatever it is. This is a critical time right in between here to educate our consumers, and what that does is good for us because we're becoming the authority, the educator, the guide who our customers look to when they think of buying beef from the rancher and buying beef in bulk. Let me go ask so-and-so. They know because they are the experts. So that's what we're doing here. We're becoming the experts. So now when it comes to the countdown, a critical time is the last 2 weeks. So your email series should be like 2 more weeks, 1 more week, 3 more days, tomorrow is the day, 5 more hours, 1 more hour, and then deposits are closed, right? So what this does, guys, is it drives pressure and scarcity because the reason why you'll see most of your sales come in those last 2 weeks in the first 3 days is because either you have 2 types of customers. You have the people who, they know what they want and they plan and they jump on things immediately. The other thing is people that procrastinate, and they will wait literally to the last minute, till the very last second that they can get in on this offer to make the buying decision. And you'll see that it's been proven time and time again. But that's why we have deadlines, because if it's just open-ended, if it's just like buy bulk beef, there's nothing that's putting pressure on people to make the buying decision. They're just going to lollygag around. Maybe they'll purchase when it's convenient for them, or when their freezer is empty, or maybe when the right time comes, because they know it's available whenever, for however long. So, there's really no reason to hurry. So this just like lights a fire under people's butts, and it gets them to make a buying decision. The next thing is collecting deposits. So make it easy. Again, like, if you are saying message me for pricing, or send me a check in the mail, or email me and then I will send you, no, go to Shopify, just make your homepage into a products page and send people to the links, and put a deposit amount that you can invoice at a later time through whatever program, invoicing program, or whatever your system looks like. Or, if you're not using Shopify, use whatever website you have and just make products. Make the product price that deposit amount. I like to go for about a 50% deposit of what I think the total price will be. And just, the easier it is, guys, the more sales you're going to make. It's as simple as that. If you are making this difficult on your customers, you're either going to lose them or they're not going to come back. It's as simple as that. So if you confuse, you lose, and part of that is collecting deposits. And if you don't make it easy on them, through simple, in today's day and age, there is no excuse for not having some sort of an offer page on your website with products that go through some sort of whatever. Like if you're still using PayPal, if you're having them send you a check in the mail, if you're having some sort of other crazy like Venmo or whatever, just like get rid of all that, because you are losing customers for that. You're losing sales, and you're killing your pre-sale bulk beef program. Make it easy. Go get products, put them on your website, link people to that product, let them place a deposit. Easy peasy, right there on the computer. The less they need you, the better. And it's easier on you. It's less work for you. We all want to work less. Well, I don't know. We're all ranchers, so maybe we like to work, but the goal is to work less. And then we have the fulfillment stage. So one of the things I would recommend is having a really good chat with your butcher about how you could possibly break down your whole beef into an equal amount of boxes. So like in the past, right, or maybe currently, most ranchers get their bulk beef back by the cut. So it's like, here's all the ground beef, here's all the roast, here's all the steaks, here's all this. And then they assemble their quarters, right? So it's often done like that. What I would recommend is have that chat with your butcher about how you can create some sort of a template that breaks your whole beef up into, if you're selling by the eighth, if that's your smallest beef, maybe it's all eighth beefs. So however many eighth beefs equal a whole. For us, it'd be like 8 eighth beefs equal a whole, 4 eighth beefs equal a half, 2 eighth beefs equal a quarter. And I say this because they're already packed in the box. The butcher's done the work for you. And 2, it's easier just to hand off a box and not touch a piece of beef than it is to have to sort it all yourself. And the third one is now you've made it shippable. Now you've broken it down into a small enough size that if you need to ship a quarter beef, you just ship 2 eighth beef boxes. So it's really worth exploring this idea with your butcher to come up with a system that is going to be able to equally break down your box to make fulfillment easier for you and on the receiving end for your customer. Because your customer doesn't, they just want it to be easy also. So handing it off to them like that is really great. And if you are hiring out help for fulfillment, it makes it easier in training also, because they don't ever have to touch anything. They just pull boxes, whether they're labeled A, B, C, and D, or A, B, C, D, E, F, G, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, whatever it is. Explore the idea, come up with a plan with your butcher on how you can equally break down a whole beef. And in the grass-fed marketing program, we actually provide all the templates for this, but I would highly suggest looking into how you can do that and having that conversation. And then processing and delivery is, like I said, now that it's broken down into smaller boxes, equally distributed, now it's shippable. And now you can start incorporating the shipping costs into your price and offering free shipping even. That would be way easy for the customer to just click yes. You know, to make that yes for that buying decision, a lot of that has to do with shipping, right? How am I going to receive it? Pickup is one thing, but if they don't live in the state, well, one, you've now widened your audience and how many people you can reach, because most people, their customers are not the people who live in their neighborhood. Unfortunately, they're not the people who are willing to pay the prices that you're trying to charge. So having a shipping program and applying it towards bulk beef is an absolute game changer and will help your customer make the decision, the buying decision, to say yes. 9 times out of 10, you'll get that customer to say yes, because they don't have to worry about, like, oh, it's $300 to ship plus the deposit plus the final amount. Like, oh man, now I'm paying like crazy amount for a quarter beef. Just incorporate that into the cost, guys, and then offer free shipping. Highly recommend that. All right, well, that is our crash course on how to implement a pre-sale strategy plan for bulk beef into your company. And again, guys, everybody should have this in their company. Everybody should have an annual bulk beef pre-sale plan implemented and working for them to be able to plan your herds, to be able to bankroll your cash flow, and start borrowing from using the consumer instead of the bank, and to just have, amplify what products you have that are already your most profitable products, which is bulk beef. So think about this, guys. Implement it. Take the suggestions I said, and thank you for following Grass-Fed Marketing. We appreciate you, and we'll see you on the flip side.